Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of VFX Circle. Had a little break, but now we're back with a vengeance, so expect some more speakers coming up. But in today's episode, I have a special guest, Nico Cotta. Welcome.
Hey Lee, how are you?
Yes, very well, thank you. So we're going to dive straight in. But just to give our listeners a bit of a background, Nico is CEO and co founder at Alibi Studios and also co CEO and co founder at The Next Valley. And we'll dive a bit deeper into those studios in a bit. But just to set the scene, we met in person whilst we were both at Cannes Film Festival earlier this year in May. So it was a happy accident through mutual acquaintance, and we got chatting, and I was really intrigued by what you're doing at Alibi, and of course, you recently launched The Next Valley. Before we get into all of that, I'd like to dig in a bit into your background. So, like a lot of founders that we have in VFX, come from an artist background. You started in VFX as a flame artist, then VFX supervisor before founding your first studio, CCVFX. So can you tell us a bit more about your journey, please?
Yes, well, thank you for inviting me first. This is very exciting, and indeed, it was a really nice meet in Cannes. I started my journey in Paris in the mid 90s, so quite a while ago. It was a very different world. It's very interesting actually because that was the time where some analogic, editing suite were still working. So it's very kind of like similar of what's happening today with all this AI noise we have at the moment. I started Flame, and I'm very glad I did that. I think starting as a Flame artist is probably the best school you can have in the VFX world because you are very much a one-man band. So you need to look and take care of the creative side of things. You have to understand clients and their vision. Especially when you work into like in the advertising world. Film world is a bit different. When you work on film or as a flame, you work as a team. But in the advertising, when you work on a commercial, then it becomes another challenge because it's really you who are going to lead the project. And there is a big psychology vibe happening as well. You need to understand this team who's around you in your suite, and that makes you learn a lot of things. It teaches you as well to go fast and to find the right shortcut because there is nobody to help you, and you need to finish the job by 6 or the deadline or whatever. But you are very much on your own, and it's kind of like very stressful at the beginning, but then it become like a big adrenaline rush who start to be very exciting. And I think that's what pushed me as well to then after maybe 10 years or a bit more in my career to become a VFX supervisor, because you want to know, often at the time we got rushes, were not shot properly for the VFX. At this time, early 2000, we were still fighting a bit, friendly, but fighting a bit with DOPs and directors because they wanted to shoot most of their thing on camera when that was the start of like heavier CGI, so new model of work. And so the desire to go on set to be part of the pre-production was high. And then thanks God, where I was working at MPC in the advertising part at the time. They really push us and encourage us to be part of that. So I started to go on set. I did many shoots all around the world. and becoming a VFX supervisor became like the natural transition, I would say, for me at least, between being an operator and wanted to open your own business, because then you generate a full project, not just a sequence, not just an image, but it's like a mini enterprise. Basically, each project become a mini enterprise. You are involved in the budget, you understand the budget side of thing, and then you're like, all right, I've got a very wide picture here of, of of the full thing.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. Sounds like a nice traditional for most people that are now VFX supervisors coming from an artist and then moving their way to on set. It sounds like it was an exciting journey at the time, but obviously still having those industry dramas, no doubt, that we've always had since day one.
Yes.
Um, so learning more of the client side and how the business works and everything, was that a natural transition for you to then go on to start CCVFX?
Yes, I think I need to go back a few years before that. I started in Paris, but very quickly after, uh, that was the very beginning of Flame, and I moved to Canada, and I was working with a company called Hybrid, uh, which is very different. The company still exists today, but it was a very different time. It was an independent company. Today it's not. It's much bigger as well. I mean, still a very good company, but very different. And I joined this. I joined this studio, who's actually geographically located in a crazy place. It's like an hour north of Montreal. It's a house in the forest, basically,
Yeah,
near a village. And when I joined Hybrid, it was around 20 people working there, and it was just like phenomenal, because it was you are like in '96, or some year like that, and internet was not what we had today. What we have today, all the communication system was absolutely not existing. But still, we were working for, when I arrived, we were working for Guillermo del Toro, we were working for Robert Rodriguez. So we were working to like really incredible directors from
yeah,
that house in the forest. And I think that always kept me. It was something very exciting to be part of that. It was a bit of a, on top of wanting to do an amazing job. It was also this stimulation of showing the world already that you can do things differently. In another way. You don't need to be in central Paris or central London. And we were like competing with LA studios, and the company did very well. Framestore offered me a job to relocate it in London. That's how I arrived in London. But then, yes, so I just explained that because at the time I grew then in the advertising world in London, and I had always this feeling to see things differently. I think that experience gave me a real bonus to be able to see things differently, in a less conventional way, maybe. And CCVFX was actually a happy accident as well, because I was in Istanbul, in Turkey, at the time, and I met my ex business partner, who offered me to join him in this adventure, and I kind of like the idea straight away, so I said yes. But basically, we were very small and poor in a way, because we started the company with only 30,000 euros. So we didn't have any backup, or like other studios may have been, our production company behind us. Um, I had my network in London, but I was not, I didn't spend my entire life in London, so it was quite challenging. But again, we took the challenge. So we focused on growing the studio in Istanbul first, as I was in London, getting the jobs. I was maybe one of the first person having a flame at home, because that's back in 2009, I think 2010, and the flame still at the time, it was not a $5,000 subscription like now, the flame cost £125,000, I think. So it was a crazy story. So I had that in my living room, uh, and my son started to be upset because we didn't have a table to eat anymore. But that was the beginning of CCVFX,
Yeah.
and um, and then we grew organically, getting jobs, getting bigger, getting the network, and we took a small studio off Brewer Street, and then things went better and better. So essentially, the CG department was in Istanbul with my partner, and I was, more like a client-facing Flame company, Flame and Nuke, based in London. And so after a few years, we moved to off Charlotte Street, and we had much bigger studio. We run 4 flames and a grading suite as well. And then at the time, we were like, I think, 70 full-time people between Istanbul and London, and that was a very exciting time. We had an amazing initial team who are still a very, very good friend. It was a real adventure into this world of VFX. We did some amazing jobs.
Like
But yes,
I know there was probably still issues there. I mean, over time was one of them, but I think in a way it was like the golden era with everyone in Soho, and the vibes after work must have been so cool as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We had a lot of dancing and a lot of partying as well because it was a happy time. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think that was the time where you can still see like some great jobs coming out of London. I think at that time we had a period where a commercial could look like a short film. It was very, very creative period, which I really loved. But yeah, challenge always, and especially when you start your own business. I think you need to have special DNA to do that. A bit masochist, maybe,
Yeah,
but
yeah, definitely.
because it's always the obviously the challenge is always, and it's not just for our industry. The cash flow is always a problem. Making sure
Yes.
uh, you can run thing. I mean, this is the base, the essential. And when you have 70 people and a studio in central London, uh, I mean, for me, it became quite, uh, I would say, nearly boring after a while, because
Yeah.
I we were running just to make sure the, the the cash flow was okay, the next month was okay, and then my life left the creativity, in the industry, because I had a company to run, and it started to be much less enjoyable, and that's not what I wanted, for my future. So I basically left the company, and the company ran for a while, a little bit after, but without me. And then yeah, I took some time off. I needed to refresh a bit my brain after working. It's like very hard, to run the studio for 6 7 years, and I took some time off, and that's when I think the click happened for me. When I could see those worlds moving, changing, and I moved to Ibiza for 2 years. And when I was over there, some of my clients started to call me, to do some project with me, and I said, well, I don't have a company, but I had a chance. Like, I've got a lot of friends. I worked in Paris, I worked in Montreal, I worked in London, I worked in New York, I worked a bit in LA as well at some point. So, and also a lot of English people or French people who were based in the UK. When MPC opened in Montreal, in New York, in LA, so many of my friends from that time uh, has been have been relocated in those countries. So my network became really big, and I realized that at that stage, and I decided to do something about it. I mean, using that positively. and I started to do jobs, um, bringing teams together virtually.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's quite a nomadic life that we have in this industry, but it seems to suit the likes of you and I, for instance, because we love going to different countries.
yes,
Um, but it was around COVID time as well. You were telling me before the call, and then you went to New York for to work at Hot Spring. What? How did that come about?
COVID for me has been, for the business side at least, a good thing because suddenly the entire world changed, and I'm already there. I'm already working remotely. I already built my first pipeline, working with a company based in France, and another one based in Istanbul, and another one based in Spain. And this pipeline is working. So COVID hits. I mean, I'm actually shooting in Morocco at that time on a film, so we all have to fly back. But during that time, again, more people were calling me because then people were talking about I had maybe a solution because they couldn't finish their jobs in different studios and things like that. So we did finish quite a few jobs remotely like that. And that was the proof of concept for me that this system was clearly working. Um, so the New York company, I didn't move to New York actually. I was working from Europe, from this American based company. Um, so it was a good experience overall. Very nice people. It was kind of like maybe an in-between thing for me. It's a proposition I received when I was building this ID. It was not totally clear yet in my head. I did the step and to work with them. It was enjoyable, but it was a company much more based on software based. So automatization, and I am not really a big believer in that system. I think, at least in the VFX, when you talk about creativity, the human need to stay the central pivot of the pipeline. So I think our vision of the future was a bit different, but also I was missing, uh, not necessarily running a company, but I was missing building a company.
Yeah, that was my next question. Did you miss it? But then you also said that you missed doing the creative side as well. So now do
Yes.
you have a bit of a balance?
Yeah, I have. Actually, uh, my work today is actually very creative in different ways. I think business can be uh, very creative. So I mean, I do photography, but that's just for myself as well, as a side thing, because at one point I was just like, there is something missing in all that. I'm a photographer originally, so I start to do photography again, and that kind of feel that need, I have. Um, but yeah, that was the start of, when I left Hot Spring. It was the start of the real, okay, when you reach a certain maturity, and things are just like suddenly clear in your head, and you're like, all right, I've got it. This is the plan. And obviously the technology changed drastically the last 6 years. The way people work remotely is totally part of our normality today. So that help, this
Yeah.
this plan.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure there are so many differences, like you just mentioned, comparing founding Alibi, which is a couple of years old now,
Correct. Yeah.
to starting CCVFX. Did you, I mean, with everything that you'd learned over the years and from co-founding CCVFX, what sort of did you bring to Alibi that you were like, right, I'm definitely not going to do that this time, and we're going to do that this time?
Well, I mean, the definitely not. It's having walls around me, and a roof and an electricity bill to pay every month. Uh, and I think this model is sadly, we can see what's happening and what happened this year. There are a lot of very good company who close doors.
overheads just insane, aren't they? Especially if you're looking at renting a place in Soho, for instance. I'm not sure what the price is these days, but I know that companies were paying like 10 million a year for some office spaces.
Yeah. I mean, I understood that in 2018, 19, I don't remember when it was, but I mean, company was still going on, other company uh, being created after that as well. But for me, each time I was hearing a new company was born, I was just like, I either missed something and I did very badly, or those guys are must have like so much money, that and I don't know, or
Yeah.
their business must be incredible.
I'm really like excited about this subject because obviously we've got really tight margins anyway, so to have these big overheads, it must just be a constant headache. But now that you've got Alibi, you don't have that sort of bricks and mortar. But do you think that studios can be under pressure from clients? Because clients like to come in, don't they, and review work in person.
That's true. It is true, but it is less true as well that you know it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I think it's going to be less and less true. I think there is also a different way to present your work. At Alibi, we developed a pipeline where we can really bring the client, next to us, like if we were in a room. So it is true as well that it's important to meet physically to get a vibe together. That's not just 1 hour on the tick, clock, and that's it. That's how you build relationship. Uh, but but when it's necessary, you can just hire a place. Depend how big you want to become. Our intention is not to be the next Untold or the next etc. What we love, it's the freedom of and the capacity of changing things if they need to be changed tomorrow, or if you want to change them tomorrow, because we don't have an incredible pipeline built who cost 3 million or whatever million, around us. We can switch in 3 days. We can switch the way we decide to work. So the clients, we meet our clients, we go on set with our clients, we've got meetings with our clients in town. There are so many space now you can rent to meeting. You go to their office, or we've got also in Alibi, we've got a company called Blit, which is a studio, sound studio based in East London, and they've got beautiful office, beautiful studio. They've got screenings, so we've got like theater, meeting rooms if needed. So that's all organized that way. But frankly, it's extremely rare that we have to spend a lot of time with the clients. Our main activity is not advertising so much. We are our activity are quite diverse. So it's maybe like when you do film and episodic, obviously you don't have the client every day with you. So maybe that's the reason as well. But so far we never suffer about or we were stuck by the fact that, oh my god, we need to find a space. There is
Yeah.
plenty of way to do that. We have a lot of friends in London.
And then one thing that we spoke about when we first met was I was intrigued by the studio partnerships that you have and collaborations in different areas of the world. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and some of your projects as well at Alibi?
Sure. So I think Alibi is not unique, but it's a model. Uh, we are seeing more and more, and I think we are going to see more and more. There is something I found true is like there is no company where you can find each time you have a job the perfect person for this job under the same roof. You know, there are companies who are specialized, and today it's uh, it's even more true than 10 years ago, because there are so many. The change in the technology it's so big that you know you have so many specialties today. And that's how we built Alibi. If you look at a panel like a rainbow like that, if the far left is the traditional VFX and the far right is R&D, pure tech dev, this is what we built with everything in the middle. So for any job we have, uh, our question is not like, oh my God, how are we going to make that fit in the pipeline? Which is a lot of company I know, that's their problem each time. It's our question is much more, okay, what's the best solution and who's the best people in our team to tackle that project? And it's often the answer is actually often a mix of them. So we are working with around six companies who are partners, creative partners, and those companies are have specialties. They have special skills. So that go from traditional VFX, animation. Uh, we have a very strong Unreal team based in Finland. We've got obviously an AI studio. We've got the Blitz, what I was mentioning before, which is the sound mix and more general post production. Um, we have R&D, where there is like 15 to 20 engineers basically developing things, and all that make, and especially now we can start to see really the magic come true is when you mix the Unreal team to the R&D and the AI team with some compositing at the end. You create some project in a way that I never created that type of project before, and this is like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, and quite. It looks like your kind of portfolio is quite broad as well. I know that some studios are focusing on specific areas, and others are a bit more broad. What made you decide to go for the sort of broader aspects? You're into VFX, animation, immersive, etc.
Well, because I think we are in a period where we are content creators, you know, and an image can be as interesting in a cinema screen or on in a immersive, you know, installation in a museum or in an event, on the side of a building. I mean, image today are everywhere, and this is the big shift in this industry. As much as we love working in episodic feature film, we see the transition, and that's where we want to be, and we we put our energy to be. It's in the content creation, and today we talk direct to client as well, who don't necessarily want to talk to an agency or to go to a production company, because we have that knowledge within the Alibi group. We've got creative directors, we've got directors, and we can offer this direct contact, without all those layers uh, of people. And each people you need to pay that layer, and it's another layer you need to pay. And I think that's why uh, we are relatively successful at the moment. It's because we can compete, in terms of price and speed, because we don't have all those layers. We remove as much as layer as possible. Sometimes we work with agencies. We've got nothing against them, or production company, of course. But we are also offering for some more adventurous clients, who want to try things differently. The fact that we can really go from a small brief and develop that into an ad or a short film or, whatever, basically.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, I've still got loads of questions for you, and the time is flying by. We can't not talk about your latest venture, and that's the Next Valley, which is very much focused on AI, which obviously is still a very contentious subject in our industry. but it's not going anywhere. And I'm really intrigued to hear about why you started this and with who, because you have a co-founder who was CEO at MPC in the mill. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, tell us more about how the Next Valley was born.
I guess you're talking about Mark Benson.
Yes.
Mark is actually part of Alibi Studios. Is our chair, and the Next Valley is actually Mark initiate that meet between us and Nick Price and Carl Little. Nick is the founder of Enmatic, the other company, who's an AI company. It simply started that AI was and still is a fact. As you said, it's not going anywhere. So a year ago, I had a chat. We've got an Alibi group meeting every month. So it's all the company owners who are together. And because Alibi is in no way a representing company or, or using vendors. Alibi is about all of us working together and building a future together. It's the an image always will come to my mind. It's this image of a lot of small fish making a big fish. This is what Alibi is. So we had this meeting, and I said to the guys, I said, "Look, guys, what do you think? I mean, who wants to tackle properly the AI? Because we were like, yes, we were already using it, but everybody in his own side, and sharing, what we found every week. We heard, oh my god, I managed to do this or that, and I said, I think it's time to get a proper, a team who's just dedicated to that. And then no one was actually interested in that because everybody are so specialized in their field. That's their passion, basically. So they didn't want to leave animation to do AI, just AI. And so we met those guys, Enmatic AI, to Mark, and it has been an instant click. The vision was exactly the same. Like on a human level, it's really cool. It's really great fun, and we were they need us as much as we needed them. So the Next Valley, the name is quite cool as well. There is a little story behind the name. Is I'm located actually in a tiny village, so show that it's actually possible to create things very remotely. In my village, we are 22 person living on top of a mountain.
22. Do you have internet?
Yeah, I've got the best internet I never had anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh, the one of the founder of Enmatic actually has a house in the Next Valley. Exactly. So I'm on the Italian border. I'm on the French side, and he has a house in the Italian side, on the Italian side.
Ah.
And so the name came from there. From there, the Next Valley. But it shows so much what's coming as well. It's where we are moving. And so basically, they needed VFX support. They needed VFX knowledge. Those guys are not from the VFX world, and we needed AI knowledge, and we are not from the AI world. So this needs another level of focus, and we decided to build and create the Next Valley because it makes sense, that we have dedicated team working on that um, direction every day, which is the hybrid AI VFX or hybrid VFX AI. So we developed pipelines, tools, software as well and we are still very much at the beginning, but we have production already running, through that company, and I think in the near future it's going to be a company probably with its own managing director and so on, because For 5 requests we receive, 4 of them are about VFX AI. You know,
Really?
yes,
And because I've heard this a few times from different studios, clients are wanting the sort of traditional bid, but they also want a bid that includes AI to see the difference.
yeah, correct. I think our role, and that's why I think the Next Valley, one of the other reasons to build the Next Valley uh, was to accompany and give an education to the clients, but also to your younger generation, where you can spend time to make them understand, because everybody is used to chat GPT now. But when it comes to like proper job, proper budget, couple of £100,000 or thing like that, more serious thing, people want to understand. And so we always show, it's kind of like the before and after. So we show a budget who's like traditional. I mean, now we use the term traditional, that's already one sign, traditional VFX. And then we have a VFX AI hybrid approach budget. And then some directors are totally more than open. They want it, they want to try. They are pro AI. Others are more shy. And then you've got the people that say, oh no, I don't like it. But I saw that when I was on set, and I heard DOP saying, I will always shoot my commercial using film, when the digital camera arrived. And 6 months later, they were all using red cam or and so on. So, it's just a moment where people need to accept. I think it's going to be different. It is already very different. Every week we are doing things that were not possible to do last month. That the quality increase, but the most important thing, it's and that's why we wanted to create a VFX AI company. It's an AI company can create AI. A VFX company will create controls, because you be able to control everything you are creating. And the magic is when you can control AI. That's the main priority. It's not just to generate AI to generate AI. Everybody can do that, but to generate AI at specific places in one image, or one sequence, or one bit in a film, it's a very different approach. That's just, it's not like, okay, we are generating 10 minutes of full AI. That's not the Next Valley. That will be enmatic probably, but that's
Yeah.
not our world.
Yeah. Oh, it's super interesting. And I have way more questions for you on AI, but we are really running out of time. So maybe we can have a part two on the world of AI. But I mean, it feels like it's here to stay, like you say. So we've obviously had COVID. We've had the constant challenge of low margins, tight budgets, overheads, etc. And what has kind of stood out to you as maybe, I know it's a bit of a naff question, but one of the biggest challenges that you've had to kind of adapt to and learn from?
Yeah, but I don't think it's enough question at all, because I think it's the most important question. And I think the answer is flexibility. Uh, I don't have the knowledge of William Sargent, who's the chair of Framestore. I'm a different person. But from my experience and from my humble little companies I built, and the way I want to be, which is here, is creative boutique on a global scale. Basically, it's all about flexibility, which means if there is a wave crashing and you are under that wave, you need to be able to stay under that wave until the wave is passing. So it's all about that, and then it's about being able to scale quickly. It's all about flexibility and scalability those days.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I know that I've definitely sent you my leadership survey. I'm not sure if you took part in it yet, but one of the questions focuses around why studios close. So do you think that's a big part of that, just generally, the lack of flexibility? obviously with huge overheads, it's very hard to turn a huge ship when there's so much at stake and so many sort of anchors. Sorry to use
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
a boat analogy, but to kind of weigh studios down. So flexibility is key, and I guess your current setup at Alibi is one of the things that helps you be flexible with
Yeah.
clients.
I mean, first of all, there are still some very big studios out there who are doing very, very well. You know, we heard a lot of negativity about the business, and it's true that, I mean, we had the COVID, we had then, especially in film and episodic, but we had the COVID, then we had the strikes, then we had the fire in California. I don't know, it went on 4 or 5 years. Every year it was like a major problem. I think companies like ILM, DNEG, Framestore, Rodeo FX, those companies are doing incredibly well. Um, you know,
Yeah,
you can see the result, financial result at the end of the year. Huh? They probably do less money than before, but they are still doing a lot of money. So they are okay, I think.
yeah,
But clearly, I think when we come to medium and small company, that's where it's. I mean, MPC and Technicolor closed down, but I think that was more a bad decision making by the group owning those companies than a real financial or strategical struggle. But
yeah,
I think when it comes to medium-sized company and small-sized company, we are talking about a different type of business, and that's where you need to be much more flexible and scalable.
yeah.
Um, I mean, yeah, we saw this year absolute, absolute. How many years? 25 years, something like that. It seems like
Mm,
it has been always part of my life. I had a job interview there when I was at MPC. I remember, um, and suddenly you hear that, and you're like, wow, how come a company after so many years, closed down? I don't know the real fact, but maybe it's decisional as well, because when you have a company like that who's built all around the pipeline, who costs so much money, and you see what's coming in front of us, you can decide to carry on your little ship through that wave and being crushed by it, or make sure to bring the boat to the port before the wave arrives, and
yeah,
bring everybody to safety. Um, Overhead, it's like salaries. We are an industry where salaries are high because people are very high skills as well and rare. So that plus that plus that equal
yeah,
lot of trouble.
yes, yes. Not don't envy the finance teams working in
No,
our industry, but like you say, there are positive stories. I know there's been a lot of negativity, a lot of studios closing, and similar to Absolute, a lot of studios that have been around for a long time that have closed. And generally, I've been trying to speak to the founders after they close, and it does seem like it is the classic cash flow problem, especially when we sometimes don't even get a contract for some projects, and can dive into that if you wish. But yeah, we definitely are up against it, and always have been. But on the positive side, just taking a screenshot or a snapshot of things today, how do you feel the industry is faring compared to even this time last year?
I think it's going into a fantastic direction. We are doing a job at the moment with an Los Angeles-based agency, and I was talking with the guy. We've got VFX supervisor working with us in LA, and they're like, I don't know how I'm going to feed that. It's so busy. So a year ago, they were all about to jump from a bridge. Like there is nothing, it's dead. And today it's like it's very busy there. Um, you know, um, we have been busy. We had some quiet months. Springtime was very quiet, but that's part of our industry. I think only big studios can run 4 or 5 films, in parallel through 1 year. If we do one or two, we are very happy. What I enjoyed a lot as well within Alibi is the fact that we are doing different things. We are doing cinema, episodic, advertising, but we also have 40% of our business who's immersive. So that's a totally different clientele. It's a different
Yeah.
business. You
How's
know,
how's that going? Because that's really interesting for me right now as well. It seems like immersive is really taking off more
yeah,
so recently.
yeah. I think this is the future. I think a cinema will still exist because it's such a special experience each time you go to the cinema. But I guess we also all the different content, being projected or in the airport or in parks, like kids parks or everywhere. So immersive is something people love. It's this interaction with yourself, with the image, with however you want to orientate it that. But the technology again, is booming. It's like the new technology offer much more way to play with pixels basically
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
interact with those pixels. So that bring a lot of new future, you know. So
Yeah.
so where we come, I think the moment can look very scary with AI coming. I mean, not coming, being really there now. Uh, we are in big change, massive one. Like analog digital was one. Uh, you know, CGI was one, but now we can already see how small CG will be in the future. AI is everywhere and will be even more everywhere tomorrow, and that's going to create more things. It's going
Yeah.
to remove a lot of layers and a
Yeah.
lot of our habits.
What do you think this means for people working in the industry right now? I know that, like you say, there's people that really just want to stick to the traditional methods, and that's how they were educated, and that's what they've been doing, and it's totally understandable. But AI is here and it's here to stay. Clients are asking for it. So what would be your advice for people either starting out in the industry or still in education, or thinking, should I pivot into learning about AI? Is that where it's heading anyway? Is it going to do them more good to learn these skills?
Yeah, I mean, who am I to give advice on that today?
Could
I
change
don't,
tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. It's like you think one thing and then you wake up the next thing and there is a better thing.
Yeah.
So it's so fast. But I'm a strong believer that it's not just in our industry, it's in terms of society. We are in automatization, AI. We will go, uh, there is a clash coming, and how we're going to handle that clash as society, I don't have that answer. But what I see in the way we are working, um, you know you need animator, you need lighter, you need compositors. Those jobs are not going away. It's the way you are going to do that job. So that's already different. You can still do the job using traditional CGI, but at one point, the client is going to say, okay, but this company can do the same in 2 times less time, and it's not cheating. You still have people every step in the process. It's not just a button you press. We start our pipeline, we start with cinematographer, we work with DOPs, we work with Unreal Engine, to set the scene. then we're going to do an AI mapping, or I mean, depend the job and what we have to do. But each point there is uh, a guy who has been working for 25 years in the industry. So people are needed. You know, the thing about automatization, it's great for sausages. You know, I don't think we are making sausages in this industry. Um, even rotoscopy is an art. You know, I think acceleration is maybe a better see way to see that, but you need the people, you need the eyes, you need the education. And I've been traveling and working different country, and it was very interesting because you can understand that an image is not being seen in the same way by people in different countries. You know, there is a style, there is countries who are going to use more colors, less colors, you know, brighter, darker, and things like that. And that show exactly that we have an eye. We've got preference, you know, in things, and that's very important because that creates different style, you know, in the artistry.
Yeah.
So I think removing the human being is would be, some people will do it, I'm sure. The most important thing is to stay in the discussion, and so to be alive in the next 5 years, to be still in the discussion, you know. So
Yes.
I think doing things too quickly, that's what I mean. I mean, again, you know, who am I? But in my view, and that's why we want to do things uh, slowly and, you know, progressively, uh, merging the two science, you know, with real artists behind everything. I think for us is the way to go. And anyway, if that was not the way, or it was not possible, I don't think I would do it because I would not have any interest. And
Exactly. Yeah. So staying flexible and open minded whilst we continue this beautiful roller coaster of a journey that our industry is. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And I always ask this question at the end. And I know it's impossible to predict, but what are your hopes for the future of our industry?
what I really feel, you know, it's for the students today. My son is 26 and he finished a master in political science, so a different uh, industry, or, you know, things. But he said to me, we had a discussion. He said to me, "I'm looking at jobs now, but I'm looking at a job who's not going to disappear in 5 years' time." My God, for me, it was just like heartbreaking. You know, it's being responsible as well uh, for that part, because that's also the people who are going to create, you know, what we're going to look at, watch tomorrow. And I think it's very important to, again, you know, to for the guys who are in university today and things like that, to keep doing, you know, to learn how to lit a room, to learn how even like a photography is done, framed, anything, editing, anything, you know, this is the base. You need to give an education to your eye, you know. If you don't have that, it's going to look crap, basically, you know.
Yeah.
I think we are facing something we never faced before in the human industry. AI is going to change everything. I didn't invent it, but this is what I noticed today, you know, on my daily basis. And but there is also, in like in all massive change, there is a lot of opportunities. In the 80s, we had the mobile phone coming, and we were like, "What's that?" now, and now it's nearly plugged into our internal ears, you know.
Yes.
So we are just evaluating with things. So I think it's scary for us, but it's not going to be scary for someone who's going to born next year, because they will
Yeah.
be born and it will be just normal for them.
Grows up with it. Yeah. I like that you chose students for that answer because they are our future. And I feel like the students that I'm speaking to, at least, are very interested in how the industry works and how business works, which maybe wasn't such a big deal before all of these things were coming out. Because obviously they want to know that they're going to have a job or in the near future, and how businesses are doing, and what makes a good studio, and becoming rarer to start in a studio and be there for, 10 plus years. So that flexibility again is key to adapt. And definitely excited to see where things are going. Yeah, loved all of those answers. Thank you so much. Anything to close us out that you want to bring up that we didn't cover?
No, I think we cover quite a lot
Yeah,
of.
we did.
No,
um,
I would say I'm super excited. It's a challenge, you know. I would recommend, I mean, advice, you know, to people, you know, just this very naff sentence: believe in your dreams, you know, and there is no one who's as better as we think, you know. It's like you can be that person, you know.
yeah, yeah. No, that's great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know we ran over, so thanks for sticking around. And yeah, if you've got any questions, you can find Nico on LinkedIn, of course. Probably see you in another country sometime
Yes,
soon.
pleasure, Ali.
Thank you, Nico.
Okay, have a great day.